So, final score from the City Ground, Nottingham Forest 1, AFC Bournemouth 1. We are on our way back, and this is a replacement for the fan cams, namely because our main camera broke. So we're going to have to get another one. And you know what? If Andoni Iraola had just matches that lasted 45 minutes, he would probably wish that he had another one as well. Thankfully, we did have a second half, because the first half was really stunted and we looked really sort of dishevelled for large parts of the game. However, I've got to say, in the second half, it wasn't straight at the off, but the introduction of Justin Kluivert and Ryan Christie, it really seemed to sort out the malaise from the Cherries. And thankfully, our striker, for today at least, at times, Antoine Semenyo, he turned up at the right time, right place, to enable Cherries fans once again to sing that song, Nottingham Forest, it's happened again. I think most Bournemouth fans can tell that the absence of Dom Solanke, it was pure and obvious to see. There was a lack of a focal point, which I think meant that we didn't have much potency whatsoever, really. But despite that, Forest, I wouldn't actually say posed that much of a threat. I don't think they're going to be in trouble this season, but they might be looking over their shoulder. I think if I was a Forest fan looking at that performance, I'd be wanting their board to maybe get in a few more reinforcements, because at times, for a Bournemouth side that were only playing at 50-40% maybe, I thought that they weren't that great either, really. It was a tale of two halves, really. First half, they were better than us. Second half, we were better than them. But I've got to say, first thing, our best wishes need to go out to Danilo, who suffered what looked like a sickening early leg injury to the Brazilian. He was taken off on a stretcher. I really liked what they did with putting this sort of sheeting around. There was a bit of conjecture about what was going on, but it was clear to see. You could sort of see through it and see that he was okay. But as far as the cameras are concerned, you certainly don't want to be seeing that. But either way, look, Forest, they took the lead, and look, Tom tweeted it, and there have been a number of opinions on this keeper today. And Neto, I mean, it was a Ryan Yates shot that was parried, and it met the feet of Chris Woods, who then put it in the back of the net. Chris Wood, I should say, who's always a bit of a menace, isn't he? But right place, right time, and we were all thinking, is it going to be checked? He was onside. It was absolutely fine. I've just got a feeling that Neto really should have probably done better with that, and the same conversations are happening again. Now, they probably won't be happening when we've got an alternative. Apparently Travs isn't that alternative, but Mamardashvili will be, you would think, and you would sense that Liverpool, where he will eventually be going, assuming we do get him, will be insistent that he needs to get some minutes. And look, let's face it, he's one of the top 5 rated goalkeepers in the world. Everyone's talking about him. We've got to be playing him, because we need a goalkeeper that dominates their box. And at times it was a bit flaily from Neto. Don't get me wrong, he pulled out a number of good stops at times, which, you know, there was one moment where a number of Bournemouth fans in and around me were laying into him, and then 5 seconds later calling out his name, Neto, because he pulled out a decent stop to deny Forest. But I think it's clear that there needs to be some movement in that department. Of course, we thought we'd equalise. Dango Ouattara smashed the ball in to the top left-hand corner after what was an intricate short corner routine. But when Michael Oliver sort of held his finger to his ear, we sort of knew that something was up here. It turned out that Lewis Cook's arm was offside. So unfortunately, that there meant that Bournemouth went in 1-0 down at half-time. It would have been fortunate, really, for us to have rescued a point. Andoni, I think, would have been frustrated with the way we played, not only with the level of play, but also just how we played as well, and some of the individual performances. Tav wasn't quite there. Dango, despite his goal, I don't know what happened, really, because in pre-season, I think he was one of our best players, but sometimes his last touch really sort of lets him down. There was a lot of pointless possession, really, in the first half, and Forest took advantage of our mistakes and went in 1-0 up. But the second half, I think, obviously that changed, not least when the substitutions came on, really. Forest did test us a few other times between the start of the game and then, but yeah, Justin Kluivert just he adds that energy. Ryan Christie adds that tenaciousness, and we just looked more hungrier on the ball, and you could tell that it was instantly paying its dividends. Really, we looked so much more better and fluid. As a result, we seemed to use the width of the pitch much more effectively, seemed to find the spaces too, and as a result we just saw a more conducive performance. And at that point, once we were playing like that, it didn't really need a sort of focal point of Dom Solanke like we usually could have, because we were just getting players in the right places, and obviously Antoine scored when he did. I've got to give a shout out to Dean Howson, an impressive debut from him. Just been looking at his stats, 19 years old, an 82% pass accuracy today, 76 touches in total, 5 passes into the final third, 40% long ball accuracy, a couple of blocks, headed clearances, etc. 2 interceptions, 4 recoveries. What really I could see was his aerial dominance at times. I think that was really impressive. Alex Scott in the first half was okay, but you can see why they switched it up. He has these promising patches, but sometimes I just feel as though he's maybe a little bit lightweight. I think Araujo, when he came in, that was really encouraging as well. Added so much energy on that right hand side. And even Daniel Jebison as well. He's no Dom Solanke, we know that, but his pressing game was really good. Forced Forest into a number of mistakes as well. And also nice to see maybe Philip Billing there. I know that for us as Bournemouth fans, we sort of know that his strengths and weaknesses, and maybe recently as a fan base we've been looking more closely, scrutinising him for his weaknesses more than his strengths. But today I think just his presence, for a player that usually always scores against Forest, he was just someone that managed to mix it up just by being there as well. I think that had there been 5 more minutes, we'd have probably won the game. But alas, I'm looking at the league table now at 6 minutes past 6, and we are in the top 6. So that's pretty good. There are some other games to come, but overall I'm happy with that. I think we said we would take a point. We've got a point, and we need to move on now with the reinforcements, hopefully, of Ivan Ilson and also maybe Mamadashvili, who can hopefully play in goal the next time we play, which will be against Newcastle. Just checking the stats here against Forest, we had 47.4% possession. It felt like we dominated that second half. 13 shots, 4 of those on target. Didn't feel as though we tested their keeper that much, but we obviously did, and Semenyo was in the right place, right time when it was needed. 6 shots off target, and also 3 blocks shots as well. Neto was called into action a number of times, so despite all the criticism of him, I think we should also weigh it up by saying that he might have kept us in the game at times as well. But that conversation will continue to rumble on, I'm absolutely certain. We would love to have your opinion on this, and if you can send it to us, you can do it as a replacement for the fan cams by sending it on WeTransfer or via the social apps that you've got us on. You can send in your clips to fans@afcbpodcast.com. You can do it via WeTransfer, like I say, and then we'll piece together a montage and then get it out on this channel. Like I say, my camera halfway through broke, so I was using the phone for the vlog in the second half. I think some scenes were still captured. We've got this backup camera that I'm using now, which is not that great. Looks like we'll have to buy another one. So if you want to support us, you can do by going to afcbpodcast.com/coffee. But look, a point on the road against Nottingham Forest, we will take that. The vlog is going to be out tomorrow. There should be some scenes on there, and then of course the second look, you know where that's going to be out on Monday with an accompanying podcast as well. Nottingham Forest, it's happened again. Just when are they going to beat us, lads? It's obviously not going to be right now. Up the chest. See you in the next one.